I'm making this video because one guy asked me to. So for those of you that don't know, the devblog just came out, which was devblog 56. It had a lot of cool things in it. They had one thing in particular that really stood out to most people in terms of what the is this, and that is the Tissoplastic Reaper. I have no idea why they're showing us these things now, but I'm all for it personally. I actually quite like the whole hypo scene. I think it's quite cool. It's mysterious and intriguing, the lore behind them. Not that I know much of it, to be very honest with you. So as I was making this video, or should I say starting this video like I am talking now, because this is the start of the video, I thought it would be quite a quick one. And it may not be a very long video anyway, but I thought it was going to be even quicker because I was only going to talk about it a little bit, my thoughts on it, what I could find on it. So I started doing some research and I came across things that I didn't know exist. I found a website as well, which I'll get into any minute now. But yeah, I mean, to talk a little bit about the Reaper, Tapwing is of course the one that has designed a lot of the art for it, if not all the art for it. She's a very talented artist, I must say. I was looking through her gallery, which I'll actually link down below so you guys can check out for yourself, because there's a lot on here. It's not just the isle that she does art on. That's quite crazy, like the details that she puts, and of course in this one here too. So I did have a little look around the internet, see what I could find to do with the Reaper, to see what else there is out there. And from quite a while back, there's a model for it as well. So it is bat-like. Here's an image on the Isle wiki as well. There's not much known about it. As you can see, everything is TBA. Or we know that the diet is meat, so it's a carnivore. It's bipedal, which is kind of obvious judging by the images of it. The age is a Holocene age. But yeah, the rest of the stats are all TBA. No one knows really much about it. I'm guessing we'll probably find out a bit more on it. I don't know when we'll ever see anything like the Reaper, if it was just for fun for them to add into it, or if it's actually something serious that's going to come into the game. I know it's another thing that some people were kind of happy to see, weirded out by it, and also someone like, we don't want this, it's a dinosaur game. All are correct and incorrect, they're all opinions at the end of the day. I personally quite like this. I think it makes it a bit more fun. And here are also some things about the Tissoplastic Reaper what I found from the Isle wiki. So again, take it with a grain of salt. Apparently it will have these abilities: the ability to camouflage, the ability to go invisible, the ability to have its speed increase dramatically, has the ability to also give it a small boost to its health. It may have the ability to fire venom from its fangs, may have venomous bite. So the interesting thing here is the last two say may have, the first four say has the ability. So I'm guessing at least at the time when they were actually discussing this a lot more, which would have been years and years ago, they already had some grounds on what it's going to be like and what it may have, which is quite interesting. A little bit more about it as well. It says here the Tissoplastic is the third non-mutant strain within the Isle, as this strain will allow camouflage capabilities, changing gameplay into a more stealth-based and assassin-like mode, which will be a better hunting situation. There's going to be a deadly one when it does come into the Isle, if it does come to the Isle. And also, just like with humans coming to the game eventually, whether that's X amount of years or not, because I know they are technically already out, but with the state they're in, they are so underdeveloped that even the devs have not enabled you to play them unless you go into some unofficial servers where they may have them enabled. But for now you can't. And what my point is with that is that officials won't have humans, or at least maybe some will, some won't. That idea always seems to be changed around, and the same will be with unofficial servers too. Some will have them enabled and some won't. Most of them do not have them enabled, at least for now. So I can imagine that'll be the same thing with stuff like Type H and Type M and whatever type this is, the Reaper. But yeah, I think it'll be cool. Let me know your guys' thoughts before we get into more of the video. Do you want something like this in the game? Are you completely against it? Are you kind of interested in seeing this? But yeah, now let me show you the website I found. Okay, so the website I found is Apollo Engineering. I don't want to post a link down there just in case this is not legit, because I actually have no idea if this is a legit website or not. That's another thing I was going to ask. If anyone knows of this website, do you know if it's actually a real thing or if it's fan made? It's really cool, by the way. I had a little look for it. But anyway, yeah, Apollo Engineering. I only found this simply by looking for this guy here and just stumbled across it by clicking here. As you can see, I've been doing my research as much as I can. But it's pretty damn interesting. So, let's start from the end here. Of course, I found the Tissoplastic Reaper. A little bit of information on it here as well, detailing its markings, its obvious features, like the big claws on its hands, saying its feathers are actually spiky, which is interesting, that's different. Large bat-like ears. There's not much information because even on here it even says name, time, place, diet, height. Even to diet we know it's carnivore, length and weight. That's all redacted. I mean, even when it comes to that, I'm going to show you a little bit around here because I mean, this makes it quite interesting. You can see how invested they have been because this artwork is also done by Tapwing, most of it, if not all of it. Some of you will even know some of these. The Neurotenic Giganotosaurus. I've never actually seen this one before. Again, no real information on it. Neurotenic Tyrannosaurus, another one that I haven't seen before because these are the type ends. Spino. I have seen this one before. I've actually played it as well myself. I have gone back in the past and played some hypos, which like I did in this video here, and it was a lot of fun. I couldn't imagine them being in the Isle, especially in a Vrima, to be honest with you, because they're just too powerful. I would like to see them reintroduced with maybe them being, of course, stronger than your apexes, because they're, I guess, the apex of the apexes at this point, right? But maybe not too strong to the point where they literally just devour servers just by having one Hyporex. It's just too OP. At that point, it's not fun. You know, when you can't even outrun the damn thing, it's quite crazy. But maybe something that will be after elders. Maybe if once you reach elder, there'll be something that you can do, or maybe to do with nesting. If two elders nest, there's a chance that maybe a hypo can be born out of that, and then it has to grow, of course. And if they'll be that strong, of course, you really want to make it hard for people to get there. But yeah, what about you guys? Do you think you'd like to see some hypos back in the Isle? You got this fella here, the Neurotenic Mastermind, a weird ass human. Neurotenic Mastermind is one of the most alien looking creatures in the Isle, that's for sure. Like its other counterparts, it is humanoid. Other than a few blue veins, the Neurotenic Mastermind has a pale colored skin. This would be terrifying to see. Yeah, and then we got the Magnetyrannus, which I also found on here. This one I have never heard of before. Now, bear in mind, I started playing the Isle maybe in 2020, I believe it was. So right around Avrima, even though I was playing Legacy for about almost a year before I went into Avrima. I have seen videos, of course, in the past from other YouTubers. This is why I got the game as well, like I think most of you have. So I don't really know that much about the lore or its backing, because it's quite hard to find information, and it's quite hard to find information in the sense that I can say for a fact it's fact. Take everything with a grain of salt that I'm showing you. I don't know what is quite real or not. I'd hope that there's someone that's watching this video and actually knows a lot about this and can be like, yeah, no, this is actually legit or not legit, and let me know. If it is legit, I would like to dive into it a lot deeper and actually do a more of an in-depth video on it, you could say. But for now, I'm kind of just looking through this like, this is pretty cool. I mean, some of these things we've seen before, like the Hypospino. The Utahraptor wasn't something that was playable, at least not when I went back in time in the Isle. The Carno, of course, the Giganotosaurus, and the T-Rex. These ones most people know of, unless you're very new to the Isle. But then you got this fella, Hyperendocrine Colossus. Probably murdered that name, but it is what it is. A humanoid T-Rex. Oh, my tongue is just going twisty-wisty with all these weird-ass names. But yeah, another interesting fella that I came across. And this is the website again. There's a lot to it. There's tiers, you got your strains, or your other tiers. Some of them don't have anything in them, like tier 6. No idea why. You got your projects as well, Inferno. None of these actually had anything in them apart from Blacklight, which again, zero idea what this is apart from what it says on here, which is kind of more mysterious and cool. But the point of it and it coming into the game one day, probably not gonna come into the game. We'll see. The Isle is a weird thing. A lot of people do think of it as just a simple dinosaur survival game that's meant to be realistic, PvP orientated, and survival at its core. You know, it's let's add humans and make something weird out of this. Like, how are humans making experiments that are kind of creating something else, which I know sounds a little bit Jurassic Park here, especially with the next Jurassic Park that's going to come out with stuff like D-Rex, and we've already had other kind of strains in Jurassic Park before. But I'm still all for it. I don't really care if people look at this game and say, oh, it's a bit of a copy of this or that, because yes, okay, there are definitely elements to it that are different, and some that feel quite the same, some that are similar. At the end of the day, if it's done well and right, it's gonna be a fun game nonetheless. But this is definitely a unique take. And one more thing to actually wrap up the Tissoplastic Reaper, which I think is kind of even, I don't know, I'm shooting in dark here, but could be a reason why they even included this. It's just this little thing on the Isle wiki that I found. It says it is said to live in caves. For those of you that don't know, in the horde test they have added, of course, new areas in the game. One of the places we did found was a cave system. So in the volcano in northeast, when you go in there, or mountain or volcano, whatever you want to call it, if you go inside of it, and on the left now, there's a huge cave system. I actually didn't go through the whole thing because it's also pitch black in there, so you can't see shit. There was like a left and a right in there as well, a little pond as well, but you couldn't drink from it. Hopefully that'll be something they'll actually fix ASAP, because it'll be kind of pointless otherwise. But yeah, who knows, maybe that ties into something. I mean, obviously when they show stuff in dev blogs, that doesn't mean they're coming next month or next year. It could be something that's even in a few years time. There could be something that they just started working on. They just want to kind of show you like, hey, this is thoughts. And sometimes they put things in dev blogs as well, probably to just show you so they can get a reaction to see what people kind of want and don't want. Because I'm sure if a lot more people were into humans, we'd probably see a lot more with humans. They're not really adding that much in terms of human structures comparing to everything else. So I'm sure if it was flipped and people really did want humans, we'll probably seen a lot more now than we already have. But anyway, that's a quick little video on this topic. It was a little bit different. I know there wasn't too much information on the Reaper. That's because I couldn't really find too much. I did try digging. Maybe I didn't dig hard enough. Who knows? But yeah, let me know about that website if any of you know it's real. And apart from that, you guys have a great day and peace.